After Election Day in November, the Republican Party split into two increasingly different factions. One group continues to support Donald Trump, shying away from criticism even after the January 6th Capitol riots. The other moving away from the rhetoric of the last 4 years and towards the conservative, perhaps more traditional party of the past. Well, this week, those two differing views finally came to a head. Illinois Congressman Adam Kinzinger was one of just 11 Republicans who voted to remove Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene from her committee posts. Now, Greene repeatedly spread conspiracy theories about 9/11 and school shootings, among other things. The vote comes just days after he announced a new PAC called Country First that he says he'll use to take back the Republican Party. And I spoke with Congressman Kinzinger earlier about that and a lot more. Congressman Kinzinger, thank you for being with me today. I appreciate that. Good morning to you. Look, you are engaged in an effort to, as you say, save the soul of the Republican Party. You're doing so by creating a new PAC called Country First. What exactly do you hope to accomplish with the new PAC?
Well, so this really isn't about the PAC. So this actually just started as an idea to do a video where I'm just going to lay it all out there, right? This is the great rich history of the Republican Party. Here's where we're at. There was an insurrection, and here's where we need to go. And basically created a landing spot for people, like an action point. If you agree with me, give me your email. And it just has blown up. So this has been 5 days, really. And it's been, I guess, a little surprising, but not really, because I sense that there was this pent-up demand for somebody to just tell the truth. So we'll see where this goes from here. I think, what I foresee is as we get a grip on how big this actual movement is and can be, maybe into obviously helping candidates, recruiting candidates, but most importantly, it's not a litmus test for any policy. It's just like, are you willing to tell people the truth? And if you are, you're a country firster, right? I mean, the fact is if you're just going to sit here and avoid pain by, believing or at least promoting conspiracy theories because it's the path of least resistance, you're putting yourself, frankly, before your country, and in some cases, Donald Trump or anything else first.
So, look, you've obviously become a very national name over the last period of weeks. We see you everywhere, but all politics is local. Your main concern is your constituency. Were you surprised or do you have any concerns over the fact that, the various county boards, one passed a censure and they're trying to do all this kind of stuff? These are your people. And I've heard you tell the story of you getting a certified letter from some relatives who called you the devil.
Yeah, they said I was in the devil's army and implied I was possessed by the devil. So, look, I mean, I knew there was going to be some blowback. I think people will always say things like, what does your district feel? And you can look at it in two ways. The base, so the base Republican Party, they're for the most part disappointed, although I'm going to tell you there's a ton of Republicans that have reached out to me and said thank you. But obviously some of the infrastructure of the parties are disappointed. But when I look at the whole district, which, by the way, doesn't just include the people that are Republicans that vote for me, the whole district is 700-some thousand people. I think generally they're supportive, but the bottom line is this: on a vote like, say, impeachment or something like telling people the truth, it's not about what you should do to get reelected. It is about, I had to swear on an oath to the Constitution, and I'm the only one out of those 700,000 people that had to do it in this capacity. Well, the reason every American doesn't swear on that oath, and a member of Congress does, is because in some cases you have to do things that are not about public opinion, that are about simply defending the Constitution, and that's what I've done. As far as censures, I mean, look, I had one party that shot a censure down huge, Grundy County, my home party, and there are some that may censure me, but it doesn't matter, because ultimately they're censuring me because I'm not swearing an allegiance to a man, and I'm picking the Constitution over the allegiance to that man. I'm fine with that. If you want to censure me for defending the Constitution, okay.
Here's what I don't get. If you're dealing with, and this is all about your vote to impeach Trump for what he is accused of doing and has been impeached for doing, but your voting record, you voted over 90% with Trump. I think it's 92%. Why aren't the constituents and supporters of Trump, why aren't they looking at the fact that you vote the way they apparently want you to vote?
Because I think we have become unmoored from what real conservatism is. People will use the term, they'll say Adam's a rhino or not a conservative, and they don't actually mean that. And it may not be their fault. Maybe just nobody's explained to them conservatism in a while. But I'm as conservative about as it gets, especially for Illinois. And what they're really saying by saying you're not a conservative or you're a rhino is that you haven't pledged undying allegiance to Donald Trump. And that's true. I haven't pledged undying allegiance to Donald Trump. My undying allegiance is to the Constitution, to the country, to my family and my God, not to a flawed man named Donald Trump.
Let me just get your reaction to, as you know, Marjorie Taylor Greene taken out off her committees by Democrats, but 11 Republicans, you're among them. And of course, Republicans' response to Kevin McCarthy is, look out, Democrats, we're coming after AOC and Omar and everybody else. These are very different situations, aren't they?
Yeah, very different. And, you know, we're pretty good at, and frankly, you know, to be honest, the left is too, at always pointing out the other side's deficiencies as a way to somewhat paper over theirs. This is a different case. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene is not just a 9/11 truther. She's, you know, said that school shootings didn't happen. They were created by the government for gun control, the whole Jewish space laser conspiracy. And yesterday and the day before, she, you know, both apologized, quote unquote, on the floor of the House and to the House Republican Conference. I never once heard an apology. All I heard was her saying she doesn't believe this stuff, and then saying about how bad the Democrats were also. Well, the reality is, I actually agree with her. I don't think she believes any of this stuff she's saying. I think she's in this to be famous and to raise a ton of money. So she told the truth saying she doesn't believe any of it, but that's not stopping her from promoting it. So look, I didn't like the idea that it took the Democrats to kick her off her committee, because I think we should have handled that in House. And frankly, that was a lack of leadership from our end to not kick her off her committees as a Republican. I frankly think somebody like her should be even prevented from caucusing with the Republicans, although we can't stop her from calling herself a Republican.
And I know you took McCarthy on at your caucus meeting and let him know just how you felt about that. I want to just ask you a question about the impeachment coming up. Starts on Tuesday. It looks like, you know, after we went through the funeral of Officer Sicknick, it's like Republican senators are caught in this world of ignoring the emotional period of this and just going, hey, it's the Constitution. You can't go after a guy who's out of office, after Mitch McConnell decided you can't go after a guy who's in office. Your view?
Yeah, I think that's true. And I think, you know, look, I think the jury is still out in terms of how these senators will come down. I think there's a lot of people holding their cards close to their vest. And I'm usually a big believer in not letting emotion govern and dictate what we do in government, because emotions kind of come and go, and government needs to be slow moving and it needs to be thoughtful. But in this case, the emotion of what happened on January 6th is really important. There was an insurrection. We came close to having the number 2, 3, and 4 person in line of succession to the presidency killed or captured or anything like that, and other members of Congress. This isn't something we just forget about 4 weeks later and compare to what happened in the summer. This is a serious thing. This is a serious inflection point. And, you know, I think, quite honestly, the president should at least be censured, but I do hope the Senate Republicans vote to remove him from office, even though he's out, because it's an important red line to place. And also, it's important to say that he shouldn't have the opportunity to run again.
With regard to unity, the president, of course, is probably going to walk through with his $1.9 trillion or something close to it. He talks about unity, wants to work with Republicans. Republicans, senator anyway, have come in and said, you know, hey, no, $600 billion, that's going to be good enough. Is Joe Biden doing it the right way? I mean, unity doesn't mean, okay, Republicans, I'll do what you want me to do.
Yeah, and it also doesn't mean, okay, Republicans, do what I want to do so we can call it unity. I mean, it's really is a give and take. I think if we can come up with some version of a compromise between the 600 and 1.9, that's good. I think the key is don't just, you know, try to basically brag about who has the higher number of spending, because this is all money we have to pay back. It has a real impact. I think things like, you know, raising the minimum wage to $15 right now in the middle of this is probably not the right move, although I'm for a minimum wage increase. I just don't think this is the right way to do it. So, you know, I don't know if we'll come to a compromise, but I think we also have to kind of get away from this idea of unity, because unity would be great. It's just not realistic. But go back to the idea of saying a loyal opposition. So Republicans, there's probably a lot we're not going to agree with that the Biden administration brings up, but it doesn't become like a red line and a battle and calling the other side the enemy. We can be loyal to the country, oppose, you know, some of these plans on the floor of the House and Senate, but not hate each other. That's what we're missing right now.
And finally, you were on the show several weeks ago, and, you know, everybody's always asking you when you do, you know, local coverage about your plans, governor, Senate, whatever. And your answer always was what it was, which, of course, how would you know? But things are different now. Now you're taking a lot of heat at home. You've started this new Country First PAC. There's a lot going on different. I'm sort of curious. In fact, in that Washington Post article, Joe Walsh, I'm sure you read it, focused on you. And he sort of said, hey, Adam's time, it's over now in Congress. What's your current thinking about what your future is going to be?
Well, my current thing is January 6th changed everything, right? It was really a matter of, I looked and said, how did my party get us here? And how is this still acceptable? And so my mission became to just tell the truth as loudly and as influentially, I guess, as I can, to say, we've lost our way. We need to correct our way. This is why Country First, which is country first with a one.com. That's why part of the reason it organically launched was because there was so much pent-up desire for it. So my focus now is just how do we save this party, whether it's recruiting good candidates, supporting good candidates, keeping the message out there that it's about the country first. And in terms of what my future political plans are, it's really a day-by-day thing. You know, I'm not sitting here using this as an opportunity to plot some big run for Senate or governor for sure. It is just all about saving this party. And that's the focus right now.